aggressive and going to the rim early. Just is that something that you've talked to her about? Just taking a higher percentage shot when some of the outside ones aren't going.
I just talked to her about just you know just figuring out where she's comfortable. Don't rely, just on spotting up shooting threes because she's got more tools in her toolbox. And I like the aggressiveness. I like her rebounding the ball. I like her attacking the basket. I like her passing off. I like her just utilizing everything in her toolbox. And when she does that, those her field goal percentage will go up.
Something that Kayla was just talking about was kind of still building that continuity and that chemistry within the group. There's not a lot of time left over the next couple of weeks. How do you continue to build on and to get this team where it needs to be come tournament time?
Well, we've been building all season long. I think sometimes it just doesn't click. When everybody wants it to click. So, for Kay and all of us, I think we just have to have continuous ball movement, continuous just putting them in spots where they can be aggressive and just having balance. I think if we say one thing, if we say get the ball inside to our post players, then most of our perimeter players catch the ball, put it over the head, and look inside. And that's not what we mean. If you're looking inside, then probably people are going to be collapsing inside. So that means you got to do something else. You got to create options for yourself when you have the ball and not just be one-dimensional by putting it over your head and, looking inside. It is just being attack mode, being a triple threat, being able to pass, shoot, put it on the floor. And I thought we took advantage of that tonight.
Coach, just for you personally in your coaching process, how much time do you give yourself to move on from a game? Are you immediately thinking about the next game as soon as you shake hands? Is it 24 hours later? How do you work?
Well, I'm probably a game ahead of where our current game, I'm probably done with Missouri and moving on to Texas A&M. You can't, I think UConn's a big game, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, especially when, it's just more of a pride win. Because we have so much basketball. You can't get too high with the highs or too low with the lows. You got to find a way to maintain, and that's throughout the season. Whether that's preparation, whether that's a bad a bad turnover in a game, a bad shot. You have to find a way to maintain, and if I'm maintaining, I think it'll trickle down to everybody else.
Don, following up on that, these next three games will determine the title. Obviously, you guys know what you have to do. You've been in this situation before, but how exciting is it this time of year, and how do you think your veterans and your younger players will be able to handle this stretch?
Well, it's a good stretch for us. The Asia, Elena, Tiffany Davis, Danye, they've been in this situation before, and I just think that for how our team has played this season, the pieces that we've had to put together and gel, for them to put us back in this position, I think it's a great accomplishment. I think everybody, felt like because we had, such great talent on our roster that it was going to be an automatic. You got to mesh the talent. There's some transition for them. I just thought they've done a great job at getting us back in the same position we were last year, in putting us in a position to be regular season champions.
Coach, you talked about being a triple threat and having all this type of talent. You see a game like tonight where it seemed to be doing a lot of different things offensively and defensively. How do you kind of bottle this up and try to stress them this is the way we need to play ball? I know it's Vanderbilt, the last place team, but the way you executed seems to be on track with what you were saying a few moments ago.
It is that. It's a process, and we're figuring out what works. And I think we could play, we have a versatile roster, so we can play, a lot of different ways out there. We chose to play a certain way against UConn. We choose to play a certain way at Vanderbilt. We got, some versatility with what we can do. Obviously, offensively, we want to continue to, do some of the things that we did and create that balance out there on the floor. For us to be successful. And we will look at it. We'll take out the good in it. And I think everybody feels good about it. We got 5 players, almost 6 players in double digits. And that's kind of the balance that we're going to need moving forward.
What has Tyesha brought to the starting lineup since you installed her as a starter at the beginning of conference play? And what were some of the factors that convinced you to make that move at that time?
It was it's just seeing the combination of what we started with at the beginning of the season and kind of seeing how that combination worked well or didn't work so well together and where we could improve. So I saw her someone that's very poised, highly intelligent. I think she's well beyond her years when it comes to playing that position. She's a thinker. She's a pass first point guard, and when you have all of those elements, and I'm not one that likes to, I don't really like to, give the keys to the car to a freshman, unless she flat out deserves it and she flat out, pretty much beat someone out at that position. And I also just think that since we made the change, I think Bianca is much more relaxed, and I think we're utilizing her in a way where she can be more of a scoring threat and a punch off the bench. And if we tried to do that early on, it probably would not have worked out as seamlessly as it did, for us. And then there's a lot of communication that goes into, making that kind of decision.
What did you think of Kiki's play tonight? It seemed like she came there in the fourth quarter and seemed more comfortable with what she was trying to do.
Kiki has been practicing extremely well the past couple of weeks. I think, what Kiki has decided is she's tired of sitting on the bench and she wants to get out there and play. And the way you do that is you have to be productive in practice. And that's what she's bringing, a certain energy. She's bringing this, what we saw in her very early on. But she's a freshman. Sometimes you have ups and downs. But now she's playing at a good pace, and she's playing, great basketball at a time that we're going to need her.
Last question here, Scott.
In your mind, since Tyesha is a freshman, how much, as a coach, was it a roll of the dice for you to, at the beginning of conference play, to put a freshman into the starting lineup? And in your words, you said it after the UConn game, you said again tonight, give her the keys for the car, and be a team leader.
She's proved it in practice. She's proved it in games, we're still right where we need to be. She's handled every situation that we've thrown at her in practice, just simulating. I tried to put her in situations that she'll see in games, and she's handled all of them extremely well. She is, she can answer my questions, and I try to trick her up at times in practice, ask her why did this happen or that happen, and she knows the answer. She knows the answer, and it's a breath of fresh air knowing that you got a freshman that really understands and you click with as a point guard.
Follow-up, Scott?
You like her, huh?
Yes. Well,
Yeah, me too.
I'm doing a story.
Yeah.
The regular season is one thing. March Madness is another. Obviously, she's going to be playing the tournament for the first time. Now, you have a lot of players on your roster who have a lot of experience and been through the tournament. Is she going to be in the point guard? She's going to have to raise her level of play even more for you guys to get to the Final Four, which obviously was the ultimate goal?
She's poised. She's calm. She went into UConn and, played great. I don't think, there's going to be a lot of different situations, but, she went in one of the toughest arenas to play in at UConn, and I thought she handled it well. So I can only go on my history with her, and my history with her is she's poised, she's calm, she understands, she's cerebral, she has command of the game, and she understands her teammates, and she knows where to get them the ball. Where what I like her to improve in is to be a little bit more aggressive offensively and to keep people honest. If they're not going to play her, then she's got to find a way to put some points on the scoreboard and, take some shots. Even if she doesn't make them, she's got to take them. So the next time she sees it, she's confident enough to at least take them, and then we can talk about making them.